My name is Annie Lemanski, and I'm a full-time studio artist. People are completely flummoxed by my sculpture because they don't know how I make it. So everything starts out as a copper rod armature. So once I decide what I want to make, I go to Google and I pull up as many images as I can of, what it is I'm going to make. So in this case, it's an ocelot. And I'll lay a picture on my opaque projector and blow it up to the scale that I want it to be. And I just do a really crude, outline drawing of it. And that helps me just sort of with scale and sort of position, sort of how to start the armature. And then I just start. I usually start with the neck. I start with that and just do a crude outline, and it just sort of builds, and it changes immensely, as I work on it. And then once the armature is done, I make patterns to fit every single piece of the armature. And then the patterns get transferred to the final material that I'm going to hand stitch onto the armature. So it's sort of a 3-step process. Politics are not always involved in my work. Deregulator, that piece is certainly political. That piece I specifically made after, with the big recession, the big financial crash in 2008. That piece was the result of just like the aftermath, of the banks closing and just all the corruption on Wall Street. So that piece was just really about, the eagle being the national symbol. I chose that very specifically and covered it with the $1 billion, bills to represent just everything that was happening with the crash. And then also at that time, there was all this talk about the average Joe in the media. So I chose the pigeons to be, the little guy. Whether it actually changes someone's mind, who knows? But perhaps it gives someone reason to look at something from a different angle. It's the best anyone can hope for if they are trying, if there is some political aspect to their work. I think there's two sides of it. Even if there's not a political message or an environmental message, still I think that there's a certain integrity to the way that I make my work, that I craft it, that I think has its own message. And there's something to be said for just the fact that I am creating this thing from nothing with my hands, and my head. I think that alone says something.